Hello and welcome to this microfocus training tutorial on ZENworks Service Desk version 8.2.x. We'll be providing details and a demonstration on migrating to the latest version of ZENworks Service Desk. An overview on a few things we're going to talk about: upgrade reminders, what's new in ZENworks Service Desk 8.2 and 8.2.1, some of the tasks, a pre-upgrade, upgrade tasks, which in this case is going to be a side-by-side, and post-upgrade tasks, the appliance migration demonstration going from version 8.1.1 to version 8.2, and upgrade strategies and methods, system requirements, appliance administration console and commands, debug and logging information, and being able to enable the old portal if you need to, and then reference documentation. Some of the upgrade reminders are listed here, primarily like check the checksum on any downloaded files that you have. Make sure you have time sync set and database requirements set, disk and database space. Leave the database running if it's external, obviously, during the upgrade because it has to upgrade the schema. Verify servers are on the same subnet. There's a file directory structure that has changed between some of the older versions, so I have a slide on that. Appliances require an additional virtual disk called VA storage. Online update registration with activation key from your Microfocus customer care portal. And administrator and passwords available on the OS system and DBA. So if you need to contact your DBA in the middle of your upgrade, you're able to at least contact them, or you have some change control process that you can be able to contact who you need to contact. Have a backup plan and verify connected systems through ZRS, ZCM, LDAP, and those. What's new in ZENworks Service Desk version 8.2? Well, there's fixes, there's coding modifications, there's the new technician user interface, there's enhancements like dynamic customizable list views, taking actions from the list page, search as you type, and a bunch of other things also in 8.2.1. Some of the technologies is went from WebObject to Angular 9. There's a Bootstrap framework, responsive layout, some Tomcat and Java upgrades, and 50 plus minor and major libraries. And this made it for a lot better performance. Pre-upgrade tasks. Upgrade the external database. So if you have an external database that isn't supported on the 8.2x, make sure you upgrade that database first. And then a full backup of the appliance and database. Identify the network configurations like the NTP settings, time sync, and so forth. Verify expiration dates of internal and external certificates. And identify and document screenshots of the working ZSD connected systems like your email, your LDAP, if you're using single sign-on or ZCM or ZRS, AMI integrations. Get those screenshots so you have them in your documentation just as a matter of backup. Pre-upgrade tasks. Some things that you want to do on upgrading is like backing up the customization files, banners, external SSL certificates, Tomcat server changes. Again, this is if you've made changes to those settings. Copy system customization files, and we'll do that in our demonstration. And again, it's only if you've gone to those locations and modified those files. If you haven't, and you won't have to restore any of those. But you can check that out on the ZSD documentation site or the ZSD customization cookbook 7025033 should you need some assistance with that. Upgrade tasks. In this instance, we're going to do a side-by-side. The OS changed, so we're going to upgrade from version 8.1.1 to version 8.2.0. We're going to open up the terminal console on the version 8.1.1 device. We're going to run the pre-migration script, the Service Desk prereq 8.2.0. This prepares the disk for the upgrade. We're going to power down the original ZENworks Service Desk server. We're going to copy and attach the VA storage virtual disk from the original server to 8.2, and we'll show you this in our demonstration. We're going to power up the new ZSD 8.2. We're going to accept the license, enter root and SD admin passwords. Then we're going to log into ZENworks Service Desk admin console on port 9443. Then we'll select the classic ZENworks Service Desk tile to proceed with the database schema upgrade. Verify the database connection and upgrade, and we will be complete. Some of the post-upgrade tasks would be to register and apply on the online updates. We would want to check the NTP time sync settings. We would verify and restore any external system communications. So those AMI or ZENworks integrations or single sign-on, we want to make sure that those are working properly. Update licenses if changed from ITIL to standard or standard to ITIL. Otherwise, you don't have to do anything with the license. And then configure new features in the new end user portal, technician portal, store options, and so forth. We're also going to restore and verify customization settings that were changed. Remember, we backed them up. We backed them up only if we've made changes, right? So we want to restore those and not overwrite, but actually modify the files if we did some file modifications. And we'll look at some of that in our demonstration as well. After everything's done, you want to back up and snapshot the ZSD version 8.2 server, database, and components, and then update the company's ZSD system configuration documentation. Let's go into a ZENworks Service Desk demo. We're going to upgrade version 8.11 to version 8.20. So let's take a look at our environment before we do the migration. So we're going to log into the 9443 administration console. One of the first things you notice is the online updates is present. We are currently at version 8.11. If we select the online updates, we'll see that we're registered and it's active. We'll see the security patches, which just came out this month. It comes out every quarter so that you can update your server. And there is a feature upgrade, which is version 8.12. Now this is called an in-place upgrade, and you get everything from the online update channel to do the next upgrade. In this case, going from 8.11 to 8.12 doesn't require an OS change. Going from 8.1x or 8x to 8.2 requires an OS change. We'll be doing a side-by-side migration. Okay, let's take a look at a couple other things. We'll log in as a supervisor, and you can see we've made some changes to the colors and the banners. If we go into setup, we can see that we're licensed for ITIL. You can see that we're connected to a database, which is PostgreSQL internal. We're connected to an Active Directory LDAP user source, and we have a ZENworks integration. Make record of these so you can make sure that all those connections are happening after the migration as well. So next we're going to go to our user console, and you can see how that's changed. You see we put in a security statement in the logon legend. We're going to log in as a user, as a customer. You can see he has one ticket, and you can see the color changes and so forth. Now the top menu will change. That's one way to recognize if you're on the old or the new portal. The technician is on the old portal and the customer is on the new portal, and we will, after the upgrade, we'll see that the technician or user portal will also look like the customer portal. Let's go ahead and log out, and we will go ahead and start the migration now. Go over to our 8.11. We're going to, one thing we didn't check, for WinSCP to work, we need to turn on SSH, and it is running. So we'll go ahead and log in. Next, we'll see that I'm connected to 81, and I have this prerequisite that has to be installed before we can move forward with the upgrade. So we'll go ahead and upload that. And this prepares the second VA storage disk for the new version on the side-by-side upgrade. So we're going to now go to cd tmp and run the RPM. And it's just that quick. Okay? Checks for the database, where things are, gets the identity of this particular appliance so that it can apply it to the new appliance that we put together. Next, we're going to go ahead and take those CSS and images and back them up. Now, since it's an in-place upgrade, everything will remain the same, but there are some CSS modifications in the new code that you may want to adjust. So you may want to see those, but it's always good to back up your CSS files and your banners just so that you have them in case there's something that you need to replace them back. Okay, now that we've done that and we've run our prereq, we can go ahead and shut down this particular system. Systemctl stop service desk, and it's 0, and it will come down. Now we'll get our folder structure. Let's go to 811. That VA storage disk, we're going to copy that. It is down. Not yet. We have to wait for it to be down. And to find out where that particular disk is, you can go to the settings, look at the second disk, and this will give you the path. Okay, so you want to grab that disk. Then, okay, grab that disk, do a copy to the 8.2, paste, done. The nice thing about this is if the 8.2 has an issue during the upgrade, you can bring back 8.11, right, without any hesitation. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add another disk to 8.2.2, picking that one we copied over. Add, hard disk, and we're going to choose an existing, and we'll go find it. Which is out on E. And we'll pick that VA storage. We can now power up this device. As it's coming up, we need to go ahead and put in the root and SDadmin passwords for the administration console. Let's go ahead and enter. Now once you hit OK here, you will see that it'll automatically populate the IP, DNS, and other characteristics of the previous appliance and presume that identity. That's part of what the prereq file does, making sure that the database is on the second volume that we moved over and capturing all of that identity. Now that it's up and running, we can then open up our web browser refresh. Give it a minute to come up. Here we are. Log in as root. And you can see we're now at 8.2.0. At this point, when 8.2.1 comes out, you can go to online updates. And you'll need to re-register for the 8.2 online update channel. Next, let's go ahead and look at the classic service desk. First time opening up the technician portal, you'll have this message. This is now automated. It used to be a manual process to connect to the database, but now it's automated in version 8.2. So you can just go ahead and close as long as it says it has been successfully upgraded. Once you do that, you'll have the technician login portal. Then we can log in as that technician. You can see the bar up here is a little bit different. This is how we get to setup up here. All right, we're going to check a few things. Check our licenses. We haven't changed licenses, so we can see that we're at 8.2. The database will show the last message that it received for the database. So it shows that until we reboot. LDAP, we're connected to the Active Directory source, and we still have our ZENworks integration, and we could test those as well. Then if we go to our user portal, it will look the same. You'll see eBrock still has that one message in there, and we're good. So again, once version 8.2.1 comes out, you'll see the online updates will show a update available, and you can just install it through the online updates without any side-by-side. It'll be just an in place. Otherwise, that concludes our demonstration of upgrading to version 8.x to 8.2 with a few details on installing to 8.2.1. Now that we've done the upgrade, let's talk about some upgrade strategies in case you're not on an 8.0 version yet. Since version 7.5, it's been an appliance model only. Always check the system and database requirements for the version you're going to. System files and database schema are upgraded with each upgrade iteration. Okay, so make sure that you have a connection to the database. VM appliances have been embedded and the databases are configured. Remember that there are a couple of upgrade methods depending on the version. There's side by side and in place, and we'll cover those in a slide in just a moment. And the upgrades could go N+1 or N+2 version increments. So if you're at 7.5, you can go one or two versions higher. So for instance, 7.5 can go to 8.1 and then can go to 8.2. OS and product security updates are all applied via the online updates for the appliance, and there's a 3-month cadence on that. Now let's talk about a couple upgrade methods. Remember, upgrading, you can upgrade from N+1 or N+2 in any one upgrade step. So if you're at 7.1, you could then go to 7.3 to 7.5 to 8.1 and then to 8.2 and 8.2.1. And the condition on the 8.2 to 8.2.1 is you must be at 8.2.0 in order to go to 8.2.1 through the online update channel. And the other thing is 8.2, it's a side-by-side, which means the OS has changed. So since the OS changes on the appliance itself, you do a side-by-side. The next series of slides are just some system requirements in a table format for you to easily see what you need to do depending on OS, database, and those types of things. In this case, this is similar to the slide we just had, and it tells us what we are moving from and to, and this has a column upgrading from 7.2 or 3 for version 7.4. If you're going to version 8.1.x, you can, if you're at 7.5 or 8.0, you can go to 8.1.x. So it has an extra column in there on what you can upgrade from. Also, these are the server requirements. Obviously, we stopped applying it to OSs, and we have just an appliance from version 7.5 on. System requirements for the database is set here. System requirements for the hypervisor, and you can see that VMware Workstation is no longer supported in version 8.2. Here's some system requirements for the RAM, disk, and CPU cores and how they've evolved over the different versions. Remember to watch your disk space, making sure you have enough disk space when you do your upgrade. And we talked a little bit about the system requirements file customizations and how some of the paths have changed over the different versions. So this has those paths. If you needed to save them off before you upgrade from 7.3 to 8.0, you can find your different files this way. When looking at the version 8.x administration console, you basically log in as 9443, and you'll log in as SD admin with the password that you set, and you get this set of tiles. Now, if you log in as root, you'll get the OS tiles as well. You can see here we have network time, digital certificate storage, and firewall is added here. So depending on how you log in, we'll give you a certain set of tiles. But you have everything you need for the upgrade for logging in as SD admin. Some of the administration console commands using systemctl are listed here, so you can check if you have an internal database or if you're checking to see if certain things are running, whether it's a service desk service, the Jetty service, the data model service, the Postgres database, or the OS release. You can always check that with that command as well. And there's other tips and information on the community website. Some service desk debug and logging locations. To set the device in debug mode, you can look at 7017.045 technical document. Remember that there's a restart services button, and there's some commands, as we saw previous slide, how to start, stop, and restart service desk. There's also the lifetime and service desk service logs, and you can export via the service desk console reports, log, and do an export. This gives more information than just the lifetime log. If you're sending things to support, make sure you do an export, because it actually gives us your database and other details about your environment that the lifetime log alone doesn't give you. The other way to look at logs is through the logs tile in the administration console. But there's a path for the different logs, and if you're looking at the ZENworks Service Desk memory settings to optimize, you can look at TID 7012318. And this slide talks about the ZENworks Service Desk enabling the old user portal. If you need to refrain from moving to the new portal right away, you can actually do your upgrade and then set the old portal features in place, the old coding. Now, you wouldn't get the new features, obviously, but if you needed time to transition, you could still do your upgrade and set the old portal in place so that you can work on training your individuals on the new portal. Here's some ZENworks Service Desk reference guides. There's a version 7 upgrade cookbook. If you're upgrading and you're on version 7 between different versions in version 7, or the version 8 upgrade cookbook, which is where if you're going from 7 to 8 or from 8.0 to 8.2, 8.2.1, as well as a service desk customization cookbook, how-tos on version 8 to modify color schemes and do particulars in the service desk system. Now version 8.2.1 is coming up, and that'll be included in the upgrade cookbook. So this product documentation is version 8.2, and the known issues are from 8.2, but they'll also be on the documentation site version 8.2.1. Going from 8.2.0 to 8.2.1 will primarily be going to the online updates and getting the update that way. This concludes our Microfocus video tutorial on upgrading to the latest version of Microfocus ZENworks Service Desk.